Well, hi there, this is DBT, and alright, it's time for another En Tuk micro showcase, and today we're gonna be looking at the Archvile, or Archvile, however you pronounce it, I've never really known, or as I call it, just the Flame Boy. But before I show you the behavior and what it does, I just want to quickly say, and I think I'm gonna have to be doing this for every single video, give a bit of a disclaimer, not a spoiler, a disclaimer, that the behavior in En Tuk will be different than what it is in Doom Eternal, simply because En Tuk is meant to be played with Doom 2 maps, be it vanilla or custom map sets or whatever. But you know that certain rules need to be followed on how the monsters behave. And I make a lot of emphasis in this particular case because the Archvile in Doom Eternal works in a very different way than any other monster. So I will explain a little bit more that when we get to look at the boy. I just wanted to give this disclaimer again, that this is not a carbon copy of what it does in Doom Eternal. So with that out of the way, how about we look at the boy, finally. So I'm gonna be showing him in stages. The first stage in this situation will be the movement. But let's just have a look, shall we? Look at that handsome boy. So yeah, this monster has custom sprites for him. He does look like it does in Doom Eternal just because it felt just right for him, you know, him being so unique in his behavior. And yeah, we wanted to make it look a bit different than, you know, the standard Archvile in Doom 2. So alright, as I was saying, the first thing that we're gonna be looking is actually at his movement. Now, one thing that I wanted to say is that, you know, in Doom Eternal, the Archvile basically is completely stationary. So he just spawns in one place in the map or in an arena, because basically it's closed big or medium-sized arenas. He just stays in one place and starts summoning or attacking you from afar, and he just waits for you to go to try to kill him, and at which point he will just run away. However, in Doom 2 it just doesn't work like that. You know that the Archviles are meant to be chasing you actively. They're trying to murder you at all times. So that's why I needed to work it out a little bit different over here. So right now he's not doing anything because I'm on no target, so he hasn't seen me as an objective just yet. But let's remove that and you will see, well, you will hear him just having a bit of a laugh, I suppose, at me. So again, this is movement only, so what's gonna happen when I get close to him? Well, he's gonna teleport, that's what it does. So much like in Doom Eternal, the moment that you get close to the dude, he's like, no, I'm out of here, I don't want to face you. So he will be trying to stay away just to attack you from afar. So in that regards, it does behave like in Doom Eternal. However, what I was saying is that Archviles are meant to be chasing you actively. So let's just make him go somewhere else. Again, he's not going to be attacking me at the moment because I'm just using this as a let's say as developer magic, as a demo, just to show you how he moves. But the moment that you're too far away and you get out of the way, he will start chasing you. You can see that he teleported. I'm gonna break away from him, and the next thing you know is that he's lurking around trying to look for me. I'm gonna get away, and you can see that he keeps on trying to chase me. So he doesn't actually look like he's walking around, he only teleports, be it away from you or towards you. It just really depends. If you're too far away or he loses eyesight or line of sight, that's when he will start trying to look for you. So alright, that's the first part, that's the movement of the Archvile. Now we're gonna have a look at the second part, which is the first of his attacks. Now, the first attack that we will have a look at is actually what I like to call the Flame Pool. I don't know what's the actual name in Doom Eternal, but hey, I name it what I find it to be descriptive enough for me. So let's just call him Into the World again and start remove my no target, and he will instantly start attacking me. You recognize this attack. He just kind of says hi to you, raises both hands, and summons a pool right where you are. This pool of fire, of course, is going to be dealing a bunch of damage to you if you stay in the same spot. Right now you can see how he's hitting all of my armor. And yeah, that's not exactly great for your health. So that's his first attack. So long as he has line of sight with you, he will start doing that. But even then, when he starts the attack, you may move away from the line of sight, but he will still manage to burn you somehow. And let me go to God mode just to keep on showing this a bit more. So the main way to try to avoid this is jumping, but you will still eat a bit of damage. Of course, the very best is just dash away from it and you will eat very little to no damage. But for that you need to have your dash ready. However, of course, if you're airborne for a long time, then this attack will have absolutely no effect on you. But this he can do this attack pretty much from any distance, so you really gotta be careful with it. Alright, so let's have a look at the second attack for this bad boy. So let me go ahead and summon this version of the Archvile that only does the attack that I want to show, and that is the fire balls, fire flames, rolling flames, you know, this attack. So as you can see, this attack, it's a bit different than how he works in Doom Eternal. The way it works in Doom Eternal is that he definitely shuts this flame little whatever they are, but what it does is he leads the shot in Doom Eternal. Now over here, technically speaking, I can make him lead the shot, but I still have to experiment quite a bit with it. So in the meantime, instead what it does is that those flames kinda seek or home at you. You can still dodge them, it's still very possible, but as you can see, he's really happy to just spam them, and you know, pretty dangerous overall. Again, the main way to avoid him is pretty much being airborne. Jump over it or just dash away, all of that good stuff. I mean, jump and dash away, and that ought to be enough for you to dodge this attack. However, as I was saying, it can be pretty damn dangerous, so you gotta be careful with that. Again, he can use it pretty much from any range, and the flames are pretty damn fast, so you really have to have some good reaction time on this. So now combine that with the flame pool, then you have a deadly combination of attacks. But how about we look at something a bit more important? And of course I'm talking about the summoning attack. But before I go into that, let me just very quickly talk about the buffing or the passive buffing of enemies that the Archvile does. I'll just put it out there, really clear. There's no passive monster buffing for the Archvile. It's not a thing in En Tuk. And the reasoning behind that, it has to do with the context in which an Archvile is used both in Doom Eternal and in Doom 2. You know that in Doom Eternal, like I was mentioning earlier, there's arenas. So whenever there's an Archvile in the arena, he will be buffing the enemies that are around him in that whole arena. So that makes, of course, the Archvile the absolute priority target, because suddenly everybody's really quick, is really aggressive, and you better kill the Archvile before all the little minions start getting to you. So this works in Doom Eternal because, like I was saying, there's arenas, there are limited spaces. However, in Doom 2 there's no such thing as arenas, so suddenly if you have an Archvile that can buff enemies when he's around, you're gonna end up having a stupid amount of monsters being buffed. Let's say that a mapper just puts an Archvile that can hear you at the very beginning of the map, kind of like he does in Doom 2 map 20 in Gacha. I think the Archvile can hear you as soon as you do anything. So either way, just the fact that having an Archvile and having all the monsters around them buffed, it's just going to be absolutely broken, just in the context of Doom 2. And of course, you can do certain things, like he will only buff enemies that are close to him at a certain distance, or if he has eyesight. But the reality is that in general, just passively buffing enemies is going to be total BS when you're trying to do a Doom 2 map, particularly if you're playing anything that isn't vanilla. Because, you know, a lot of mappers love to put a one Archvile with a ton of little minions around, and all of them being buffed is going to be totally broken. So yeah, no passive buffing for enemies. However, that's not to say that there's no buffing at all for the Archvile, and for that we're going to be looking at the summon. Now, much like in Doom Eternal, whenever he starts doing the summon, he puts out a shield, and it's up to you to destroy the shield. Let's have a look at that. You can see the shield. I'm gonna destroy the shield and then hurt him. You can see that the monsters that were coming out suddenly got completely destroyed, because on hurting him, making him enter the pain state, it will cancel all the monsters that are spawning. However, if you don't manage to get him into the pain state or falter him, then he will finish summoning the demons, and you can see that he has a weird red halo around it, signifying that this is a buffed monster by the Archvile. Now, the monsters will be only buffed by the Archvile that summoned them, and for as long as the Archvile is around. So let me go ahead and kill this Archvile, if it will let me, that is. You know what, let me go God mode, because this gets pretty dumb pretty quick. So I'm gonna kill eventually this dude, and then we have the demons back to normal. They're not super quick, they're not buffed, they don't have the red halo to indicate that they're buffed. So at this point they're just regular versions of the monsters. So that's how the Archvile is good at buffing enemies. Only if you let them, that's when you're gonna end up with this situation with a ton of buffed enemies. Again, let's have a look at this bad boy, just because it's fun to have him summon him. And yeah, you can destroy the shield, and when the shield is destroyed, that's when you can attack him and break. Or simply you can just go around it and just ignore the shield altogether. And that's how you get it. So yeah, that's the main behavior of the summon of the Archvile. He can summon a ton of little dudes here and there, all sorts of classes. It can be things as low as a zombie, or as crazy as Baron of Hell, as you saw earlier. And again, you let the Archvile just run around summoning dudes, and it's gonna be your end. While the demons are being summoned, you cannot kill them at all. They're completely invulnerable. Only when they fully spawn, you can damage them. So forget about trying to kill what he's spawning. You have to kill the Archvile, or at least hurt him enough. Or freeze him. That works too. I froze it, and suddenly all the monsters that were being summoned have died. So, alright, that's basically how the summon works. So how about I actually show you an Archvile in its natural state, a normal version of the Archvile, and see how suddenly this dude can be an absolute pain in the ass. Of course, that is if I remove the no target. That would work. So right out of the gate, starting with the flame attacks, because why the hell not? Again, you gotta be quick at dodging them. So pretty damn aggressive. And now this is an Archvile alone. Now imagine, let me just let's let him summon a couple of enemies, and you will see why it's not a good idea to do that. So we have a Baron of Hell, and we have a Hell Knight, and suddenly I have a ton of pressure on me to kill this Archvile as damn quick as possible, while keeping in mind that he's gonna be trying to summon a ton of enemies, and at the same time running away from me every time that I get close with him. And just like that, there goes my death. So yeah, this dude really is an absolute unit. You gotta be careful with this, and I definitely wanted him to be difficult to deal with, because of course, it's an Archvile. I wonder how many people are gonna get triggered that I'm calling him Archvile. Well, maybe it's Archvile. I don't know. Whatever. You get my point. But yeah, that's the Archvile, whatever. And yeah, so he doesn't have the passive buffing, but you can see that he's an absolute pain in the ass. And yeah, that's all there is to it. So, alright. That's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I know that I'm taking a little bit of time to do all of this, but as you can see, I'm working hard on this thing, and there's definitely still a lot of things that I want to show you. All things will come in due time. I think the next showcase will be quite an interesting one. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked this video. Leave it a like, you know, the comments, and subscribe to the channel and all that bullshit. And I'll be seeing you on the next one. Until then, take care everybody, and stay safe.